Watford have done it again. We've conceded hatfuls again. It's finished at the King Power. Leicester 4. Watford 1. The defence needs sorting out, it's fair to say. And it's also fair to say that in the first half, we were in that game. But by the second half, our defence kapoomed. I don't even know what the word is, but it exploded. We're out of the FA Cup at the first time of asking. It's not our year. It's not our year. I thought this year we'd go far. I thought we'd win it. I'll be honest. Nah, I'm joking, of course. I really should have thought. But, look, focus on the league, right? That's what we wanted anyway with this hectic relegation battle. But with teams like Newcastle and Burnley losing embarrassingly in the Cup, there could still be light at the end of the tunnel. We just need to defend. It's as simple as that. But that's why Samir has come in. That's why Kamara has come in. But I'd like some more names in the door. But yeah, 4-1 at the King Power. Basically an iconic... sorry, not an iconic. Exact replica, don't know why I said iconic, of the Premier League game with Leicester at the King Power. Because it's just that we go two goals down. And then we realise, oh, we've actually conceded too many now to actually make a game of this. And we're already in the mud, basically. So, oh dear. Ozan Tufan had a shocker of a game, as did Francisco Sierralta. I mean, there was chances in there for Watford. There really was. You know, we were in their faces, but defensively just so poor. And in a game where Leicester had a lot of players either at AFCON or out injured, we just made it look too easy for them. And I'll admit, right, we've been done dirty there with the draw, right? We've got a tough for third round game. You don't often get a Premier League against a Premier League team. And it's not just that, it's the holders. They would have felt confident, especially at home as well. So, things have gone against us in that respect. And I think it has gone against us with the fact that, their player didn't get sent off. I don't know how, Dane Campbell, but he gets yellow carded and then he fouls Cucho Hernandez. And that is just 2 yellows. It's simple as that. Mike Dean's bottled out of that one. He needs to send him off. But, look, the argument is that changes the game. That point in the match, right? 2-1, nearly half-time. Could have had a big impact, but, is what it is. Ultimately, I think the penalty decision, I originally said on my half-time review, if you didn't catch that, by the way, go check it out on my Instagram, Roberto_the_pro. But ultimately, right, now I look back at it, it was clumsy. It was clumsy from Sierralta, but that's just Sierralta all over, right? So he's not had a good season. He was immense last season. You kind of thought, all right, this season, let's build our defence around him. And ultimately, right, he's not been fit enough. He's not played enough games this season to really get into a rhythm. But the games that he has played, you can tell he's not fully fit and you can tell he's not confident because he's got an own goal against Wolves. He's made, a few... he's made a few good challenges, but ultimately a few mistakes as well. And then today, it's a bit silly. But on another day, like that could have been a Watford moment, and that doesn't get given because it's one of those. It's not a Stonewall penalty, but it is clumsy. So he does drag back Vestergaard, I suppose. It's just, if that was for Watford, I don't know if it's getting given because ultimately, right, that should have been a red card. And also, I remember in the first half, I think Watford might have had a shout for a pen, but I'm not sure if it was given. But ultimately, we just can't defend right now, and that is the issue. We can't defend, and we also can't play a pass. We can't actually, make a shot. We can't even pull the trigger, and ultimately we can't defend. So those 3 things are not a nice combination. Tufan, though, honestly, he had a good chance where you think just as long as you get it on target, mate, I'm not going to judge you. But ultimately, should have been doing a lot better. It was a good cross out from the right. I think it might have been Ngaki that sent it in. And he manages to just get his foot under it. And from quite close, it's over the bar. And then later on in the game, really good build-up from Pedro once again. Pedro is just brilliant recently. And he deserves to start more games. He did start today in the FA Cup third round. But look, he's just got to keep it down, Tufan. He just always blazes it over. And that was an unfortunate one. We need basically everything. We need a miracle to save us right now. We need the football gods to just be on our side right now, because we keep losing matches. And I don't think it's the fault of Ranieri. That's the thing. It's easy to say, oh, well, Watford have been in bad form, Ranieri's going to go. But it's about these next three. It simply is, right? Because we've had very, very difficult matches that you wouldn't have expected us to get points from anyway. And we've had good performances in some of those matches. Not all of them, but some of them. Against Chelsea, we deserved certainly at least a point. Against Arsenal, we didn't deserve to lose. Although, you know, we did. That's just the reality of it. So we haven't been picking up the points. Against Spurs, we looked defensively really solid. But then last second of the game, we concede to a lucky free kick. And we should have had a penalty in that Tottenham game. So, you know, all these things, it just feels like we're not getting the results. And that is the issue, right? That is the big issue. We just love conceding. And I know we don't obviously try to, but we can't stop ourselves. I don't know. It's tough. It really is. People that are calling for Scott Duxbury to go, like, you need to just get a bit of perspective, right? What Duxbury and what the Pozzos have done is unbelievable from where this club was. It's not a problem of, you know, the ownership and the chairman and the CEO and the chairman. It's a problem of the players, and they need to take responsibility. You know, they honestly defend like headless chickens, and I can't do anything about that, right? The only thing is, right, it is Leicester. We have to think about the quality of opposition, and the other thing is, you got to just laugh at Newcastle, really, because, you know, it's respectable to lose to Leicester, but it's not to Cambridge United. I mean, they had Trippier playing for his first game. You know, it's hilarious. But anyway, also Burnley did lose, as I mentioned, to Huddersfield, and you also saw Reading lose to Kidderminster. I mean, who'd have thought it? Love these upsets. But what I am saying is, with Watford, we need to just be better at starting games, okay? I remember there was a little phase where we started scoring early goals. I think it was quite early on in the season. We did it with the Dennis goal against Norwich. We did it with the goal from Dennis actually against West Ham as well. And we also did it in the Aston Villa game. But we haven't done it enough this season, getting the first goal of a match. And it can ultimately, right, give us that boost. Now, we have seen before us get the first goal and then we crumble. But especially when we concede the first goal, that's when it's a problem. Because we simply can't seem to defend. And we need to get another defender. A lot of people have talked about Phillips from Liverpool. We've had a bid for him rejected. Courtney Hawes as well has been rumoured, but I don't know. I'm not sure how good he is. Another goalkeeper maybe, like Dean Henderson or something. I don't even know. But we've signed Samir, we've signed Kayembe, and we've signed Kamara. I don't know. It's just tough. It is tough. Like, we could be Reading, right? We could have lost to Kidderminster, but we probably would have done if we'd have played them. But no, let's not be negative. But we're just too much of a deja vu club at the minute. And I mean, look, it's the FA Cup, right? In the grand scheme of things, it's not that important. We shouldn't care about it that much. We've got to focus on the league. But I don't know. It's not very surprising, to be honest, that we've lost today. But it's just you want to see a few more defensive signs of hope, and there just isn't that at the minute. You know, Troost-Ekong going out to AFCON's not helped our cause. The same with Messina. I don't know. We just lose every week at this point, and it's 7 straight defeats. But you've got to remember the opposition we've had in that time. That's why these next 3 games are huge, absolutely massive. So yeah, I honestly can't blame what Ranieri's done. I think he's trying to get a tune out of these players, and they're just not giving it back to him. So I've got a feeling Ranieri, if we can't win those 2 or at least 2 of the 3 of the next 3, or we lose all 3 of the next Prem games, Newcastle, Burnley, Norwich, season-defining week, then he's gone. And I don't know. It's a difficult one. I think this was the sort of game where you want to just keep players fit and fresh. But I'm just sick and tired of us losing. And not just losing, but losing heavily. It's like 4-1. I mean, Mike Dean, as I mentioned, he bottled it with the red card, or the what should have been red card. I mean, to an extent, I'm glad we're out of the cup, to be honest, because it's less games to worry about, right? But I don't know. It's just depressing. It really is depressing. I really hope it's not the players don't have the motivation or they don't care. But it probably would be a bit of that, right? It's the FA Cup, and we need to focus on the Premier League. I don't think it's his fault. I think he's just Ranieri's got an awful team. He's got very awful resources at the minute, and we've tried to repair some of those with our transfers. Hopefully they will work. I don't know. I think I like the look of James Morris today, but there are very little positives to take, unfortunately, other than Joao Pedro and Cucho Hernandez. And look, Cucho had that chance that Ngaki did really well to set up in the first half, but it's just the manner of the defeats, and it can't be good for the fringe players as well to see this. I don't know. It's a difficult one. So the first goal today, just classic Watford defending, isn't it? As I mentioned, Sierralta loses his man, and Vestergaard gets pulled over. And the frustrating thing is, Backman goes the right way as well, but it's a penalty that's confidently put away by Yuri Tielemans. The Belgian, it's always a Belgian, and it's always Tielemans against us. It's not good. Even with Vardy out of the picture, Leicester still score 4, and it's 7 defeats in a row. Like, I just can't deal with it right now. It's just crazy stuff. And then the second goal, just defensively so poor. It's just Craig Cathcart needs to look at the running of Maddison, pick up his run, but he's all over the place. Our defence is so open, and one pass through the lines really sets Leicester away. I think it was Lookman, straight through to him. It should be stopped at source, and it should be harder for Leicester to get through us, but it isn't. It's just as knife cutting through butter. And then that shot from Maddison's a good finish, to be fair. But once again, Backman comes out, doesn't cover himself in glory, doesn't get any of the ball, and is chipped over the top. It's a nice finish, but really is preventable. And then we get our goal back, and it's a fantastic goal. The part to play, you've got to say, it's good football from Watford. Nice little play from Cucho Hernandez. Good little hook over the top. It's a similar thing to what Pedro did against Everton when we got them their 5-2 win. It was kind of like he hooked it over the top. Really good. And Fletcher, who, I'll be honest, was awful today. Never really got in the game. Looked just like he wasn't in it and just coasted through and, didn't get in the box enough times. As a striker, that's a disappointing thing to see. And, alright, good pass from Fletcher. I think he just prods it towards Joao Pedro, and it's a similar kind of finish to the Dennis one, actually, from the Premier League clash against Leicester. But in a way, it's just Danny Ward is more. He's rather than being sat down by Dennis like Schmeichel was. It's just that he's picked his spot, and he's picked the area that Ward didn't cover, basically into that top left corner. Great goal from Pedro. He's been our one constant positive. And he has to start more games because his development is fantastic. He's such a great young prospect, still doing it in the Premier League and in the FA Cup. Get our goal back, but ultimately, still, we have an uphill battle because of the fact we concede just before, and then go into half time. But look, that should have been a sending off, right? The first yellow card was not a good challenge. The second yellow card, I just don't see how that's not a yellow card, because I get the argument that he slips. That's June Campbell, whatever his name is, Dame Campbell. But look, he does throw his top half of his body down and tries to prevent Cucho from getting away from him, right? I know there's a bit of he can't control himself, but he does throw his top part of his body into it. So I think that's a second yellow, and then that changes the game, different match. But anyway, that's the way it goes. Second half comes along, a bit better from Watford, staying in the game. Starting not too badly, and then obviously Leicester, still probing away, but they get their third goal. I can't actually remember what the score was when it happened, but the lights went out which was just brilliant. So if we had any momentum in the game, then at 2-1 or 3-1 or whatever it was, we certainly weren't going to get back into it, because it was just kind of stop-starting the game, took the sting out of it, really. But yeah, Leicester get their third goal. Again, it's just another piece of sloppy defending. I mean, how it gets all the way through there, it shouldn't be done from Harvey Barnes. It's bad defending again from Sierralta. He's out of position. The defence is just playing too much of a high line. It's a good pass from Lookman, to be fair, but it is Harvey Barnes slots it away, and he's just onside on the replay, so a frustrating one there. But yeah, we just at sea, really, and Bachmann again does it, and he comes out. He thinks he can get there, but Barnes puts it away. The fourth goal, I mean, this was just another mistake from Bachmann, but you feel for him because he's doing all he can. But the defence needs to do better. Ball into the box. The ball is put across goal by Maddison and by Lookman, or it might have been someone else, by Barnes. I don't know. Ultimately, right, it's put across goal. But Sierralta, he's got to get a foot in, and he just pulls out of it, or if he doesn't pull out of it, he can't get a foot in. I mean, Troost-Ekong wasn't even in the squad today, and it felt like Sierralta was making up for it with the mistakes he was making. So yeah, not good. And it comes out to Leicester and Lookman, I think. I'm not quite sure who put the original ball in, but Lookman has a shot, I think. It's saved, well saved by Bachmann from close range. You'd expect him to, but then the save is only just parried, frustratingly, agonisingly, to Mark Albrighton, who just absolutely swaps it with his rocket boot and bangs it into the back of the net from close range, but frustrating one. It's a bit like the goal that Lookman scored in the Premier League game, where it's just a save from Bachmann, tap in, but look, it's just not good at all. But like I said, is this a blessing in disguise? Because we need to focus on those three massive games of Newcastle, then Burnley on the Tuesday, and then Norwich on the Friday night football. Honestly, it's crunch time. It's crunch time. This team probably wouldn't start most Premier League games. It was quite a strong team, to be fair, other than King, other than Dennis, other than a few of the other more experienced lads in there. But still, we started Sissoko. We started cleverly, and just still lacking of passing accuracy, lacking of goals, and can't defend. So I say lacking of goals. We look quite good most weeks going forward, and we looked decent again today, but we just concede too many, and that gives us a big hill to climb. So not good at all. We go again, but it's Newcastle, much more important. Come on, you Horns. Man of the match, Pedro, of course, but it's pretty bleak.